Thank you, Lascan Corlia. The justice allocation for 2024 of €3.5 billion was a real boost in helping us to build stronger, safer communities. We're doing this across a range of areas, including supporting and strengthening An Garda Síochána, establishing community safety partnerships across the country, zero tolerance for domestic, sexual and gender-based violence. We're also investing in our courts, our prisons and increasing access to justice. I'm allocating an unprecedented €2.31 billion to An Garda Síochána, an increase of over €172 million on last year. That's up 23% or €430 million in the last 3 years. Maintaining and enhancing our police service through increased more Gardaí and more civilian staff is key to stronger, safer communities. This record level of funding is recognition of the need to support our individual members of An Garda Síochána, who every day do superb work in often very complex and challenging circumstances. It will provide for the recruitment of between 800 and 1,000 Garda staff or Gardaí next year. I'm particularly pleased as well that yesterday's budget funds an increase in the Garda trainee allowance to €305. That's two-thirds increase on the current level in place since 2011. These increased payments will begin on January 1st, but with a backdated lump sum payment in January for those in the college between budget day and January. Specifically, €6 million is also being allocated for Garda wellbeing initiatives, medical costs and 2,500 units of body armour. We recognise the devastating impact crime has not only on the individuals whose lives have been affected, but also on the wider community. More Gardaí proactively patrolling in our cities, towns and rural areas, as well as more Garda staff, maintains law and order and makes everyone feel much safer. A 25% increase in Garda overtime for 24 will allow for continued high visibility policing, and the recruitment of 250 additional Garda staff will make sure that Garda numbers are freed up insofar as possible for frontline duties. The steady stream of Garda recruits entering and exiting Templemore will also reduce the need for overtime as the years progress. We will open another campaign soon to help us guarantee that there are up to 200 new recruits entering Templemore every 3 months over the coming years. I think, Lascan Corla, we've all been shocked and concerned by the recent rise in fatalities on our roads. I recently announced extra funding to increase the number of GoSafe speed cameras to 9,000 a month. In this budget, we are funding these increased hours for the duration of 2024, and I think that should be welcome. Taken together with a very strong ongoing Garda recruitment, I hope that these measures, increased numbers into our roads traffic unit as well, will help to save lives on our roads. The gross allocation of €571 million for the Department's vote, an increase of €26 million, again will increase in funding supports for victims, vulnerable people, and will help to provide vital services to those who need them. Tackling domestic, sexual and gender-based violence is an absolute priority for me, both providing victim-centred supports and services, but also ensuring that perpetrators are punished. This budget provides an extra €12.3 million for 24, record funding for combating domestic, sexual and gender-based violence. It will provide for a new agency for domestic violence, which will become fully operational in January of 2024. It will also provide for additional project management supports to assist local organisations in the concept, planning and construction of refuge accommodation. This funding also strengthens the nationwide supports and will help to maintain the momentum in implementing the ambitious goals set out in the Zero Tolerance National Strategy. As a country, Lascan Corla, we stand firm with the people of Ukraine. I think we can be proud of our response to the humanitarian crisis, and I am pleased that we have a funding of €6 million for my department's response. So far, we have welcomed over 96,000 Ukrainians to Ireland, and we will continue to ensure that those fleeing the conflict and seeking temporary protection here receive the support that they need. Since the pandemic, we have seen a significant rise in immigration and international protection applicants also. Additional funding of nearly €21 million would go towards increasing efficiency in processing applications to achieve over 1,200 decisions a month in 2024. I will shortly announce another set of successful applicants to the Community Safety Innovation Fund. This fund brings back proceeds of crime which the Criminal Assets Bureau has confiscated and invests it back into community projects. I'm pleased that this fund will reach €3.75 million in 2024. Next year also €2.25 million will be provided for the rollout of the Community Safety Partnerships and a National Coordination Office to lead on this. An increase of €2.5 million will bring the total allocation for the Garda Síochána Ombudsman Commission to 19.2. This is to support its transition to a new body under the Policing, Security and Community Safety legislation next year. I'm also pleased to have secured additional funding of €5.5 million for the Legal Aid Board and €2.5 million for probation services to support them in their essential work in diverting people from prison and offering offenders alternatives to prison. The total gross allocation for the prisons vote is 439 million. This includes an extra 10.6 in payroll to fund public sector pay increases, additional staff, but also to provide 68,000 additional hours for prison-based staff. This is to assist with the management of the prisoner population. New staff will include a rapid build prison unit to drive the government's intention to provide over 400 new prison spaces over the next 5 years. There will also be 5 million in additional non-pay funding to provide for inflationary measures and increased costs. In terms of the courts vote, the gross allocation of 183 million includes capital funding of 67 million. Earlier this year, following the publication in February of the final report of the Judicial Planning Working Group, the Government committed to an historic increase in the number of judges to facilitate greater access to justice.